Good evening, everybody. I know I'm a few minutes early, but I just like to limber up before I do some cooking. So we'll have a bit of this, and we'll have a bit of that, and do a bit of this, a bit of that, some of that. Look, okay, because it's all about limbering up and being ready to go. Okay. So you need to make sure you're nice and warmed up before you start any cooking, because this here takes a lot out of you when you do this. Okay, you need to make sure you got your shaking arms going. So you just limber up nice and gently. That's it. Oh, I'm quite out of puff now, really. So okay, so we've still got a minute and a half. We've still got a minute and a half before we can go yet. So heard from a few people today. A few things have been going on. So I've had somebody's been cleaning their side passage, whatever that means, who knows. Somebody else, unfortunately, not going to be able to join us this evening because they're washing their hair. But you know, as you can see, I don't really have that problem. I don't have any hair to wash. So just had a message come up. Haven't got a hat. Hat didn't go well. But what you can keep saying is, yes, chef. Okay. This was from a job I did once for somebody where I ended up washing up all night, but I did get a free apron that said, yes, chef, which was very nice. So it was very amusing. So what we are going to do this evening, we are going to make chocolate brownies. Okay. We are going to do it all live. I have prepped a couple of little bits. Not much so, not too much. So if you are cooking along with me, which I believe somebody is, you are going to need a saucepan with a little bit of water in, a glass bowl to put your sugar, no, not your sugar, your butter and your dark chocolate in. Okay, you're also going to need a whisk at some point, and if you can get a whisk with the world's shortest lead on it, that's always really handy, because that absolutely limits where you can use it. And it does appear that every whisk you buy has the world's shortest lead on it, and it makes it very hard work. But so we're good to go now. So the first thing that we need to do this evening, on this beautiful evening that it is, and we all like chocolate brownie, don't we? We all like chocolate brownie. So I found a recipe, and it's for chocolate brownie, which is lucky. So the first thing we need to do is you need to take your 185 grams of unsalted butter. You need to cut it into small cubes and then tip it into a medium bowl. Okay, so just while you're doing that, I'm just going to go and switch my saucepan on to bring the water up to temperature. So I just had a request to move out of the way so someone can see a picture. There we go. There you go, I've done that now, you see. There you go, I've done that, see. This is the things of live Facebook, isn't it? Very good, very good. So what I needed to do was 185 grams of dark chocolate as well. I've chopped that up and put that in there. It was Aldi's Finest. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can do it in a microwave to melt your chocolate. But if you do it in a microwave, just remember you need to take the wrapper off it. Because especially if you're unlike me, but you can afford Cadbury's chocolate, that comes in a nice foil wrapper sometimes. Microwaves don't like that. All gets a bit messy quite quickly. So don't do that. Okay, so the best way I found to do it, okay, in all my years of experience, is to take this bowl with the chocolate and the butter in, and you want to place it just over the saucepan, and I'll show you how it goes. Look, here we go. Look, here we go. Oh, yeah, see, this is where it's not very good now. But there we go. Found the button. So you just place it over the saucepan like that. It's got the water in the saucepan. You don't want too much. You don't want the bowl touching the water. Okay, you don't want it touching the water, and you just leave it on there to melt, giving it a stir now and again. And it's good to see clearly that someone's finished washing their hair now and they couldn't resist watching. So it's I need to plug my phone back in as well, because a bit of poor planning and I didn't charge my phone. It's not very, oh no, you don't want to see that wooden spoon, do you? There we go. There we go. So we're back. Oh dear. Oh dear. There we go. There we go. So what you can do is you can now, while that's lovely melting there, what you now need to do is you just leave that, okay? And while that's happening, you're going to need to give it a stir in a minute. You need a baking tray, okay? You need a baking tray, all right? Now, I did speak to Gordon earlier about this because I didn't have exactly the right size. And Gordon did state it didn't really matter, okay? Now, it just says line the bottom with greaseproof paper or baking parchment. Now, because I'm quite old, I reckon I used to use greaseproof paper and baking parchment as tracing paper. So I reckon you could also use tracing paper, but I also think you could probably use that Gysol toilet roll that we used to get at primary school that we used to use as tracing paper. So I think, all in all, you could use any of that really and it would be fine. So I've lined the bottom of my baking tray, okay? Not put too much in there because it just said line the bottom. I've glued it down with a little bit of butter because apparently grease wasn't really the thing to do. But so what I think we probably need to do now is we need water to hurry up really, don't we? Because if the water was to hurry up, then we would be a bit further on. But I didn't want to prepare anything beforehand, okay? Because I think the last one I did, I maybe did a little bit too much preparation for everybody and people couldn't keep up with what was going on, okay? So the other thing is I'm going to put the oven on. Now, put one of your shelves in the middle of the oven, okay? Just in the middle, and set your oven to gas mark 4, 180 or 160 for a fan oven. So I'm just going to preheat my oven, okay? So flick the oven on. The oven's now happening. I can now also hear my water is just starting to come up to the boil. So I'm just going to turn it down a little bit and give all that a stir in there. That's just starting to melt now, okay? That is just starting to go. Just needs to sit there. Could take a while, but in theory it shouldn't do because we've got to let it cool anyway, okay? We've got to bring it down to room temperature, all right? Room temperature. So now what you need to do is measure out your cocoa powder, and you want 40 grams of that, and you want 85 grams of plain flour, okay? Take that, okay, and I've already got mine in a bowl, okay, and you need to sieve it, okay? You need to just put it through the sieve, okay, and just give it a little tap like that, you see, and what it does, just takes any lumps and bumps out of it. Looks quite pretty actually, to be honest. Now, because I couldn't get any white plain flour, okay, just couldn't get any white plain flour, what I've ended up having to do is I've had to use my good old faithful wholemeal flour again, okay. Now, the wholemeal flour, it seems to work okay, it's about the right colour, so I think it will do. And also, when you sieve it, it leaves all the little bits of wholemeal in there. So anyway, it gives you kind of the same job, doesn't it? It's just not quite white, and being that there's cocoa powder in there anyway, who cares? I certainly don't. And in the absence of there actually being any white plain flour, couldn't get any anywhere. Had Paula driving around all day today. Oh, I actually think she went to the beach. after going to the pub, meeting all her friends and doing all those things you really shouldn't do whilst in lockdown. So just going over to the saucepan to give it a stir, and we'll all go over there in a moment, but I want it to actually be doing something before we all go over there. Yeah, it's definitely doing something. Now, whether it's actually what I wanted it to do or what it should be doing is very difficult to tell, because I've never done this before. So, in never doing it before, I don't really know what it should look like. But, hey, how bad can it be? So, while that's sat there doing that, what we need to do is we need to chop up 50 grams of white chocolate, okay, and 50 grams of milk chocolate. Now, that's quite easy if you buy 100 gram bars, because that's half a bar. See, my maths GCSE, grade 6, wasn't wasted, which is the main thing. So, oh, crikey, you need a degree to get into the packet though. Ah, look at this. White chocolate. Now, this again is Aldi's finest, okay? Other brands are available, but they weren't today, okay? So all we had today was Aldi. So I'm going to break it up into little lumps, okay? Then we're going to give it a bit of a chop as well, because we're going to use this a little bit later, okay? We're going to put this in, and it's going to be, oh crikey, that's all getting a bit excited over there. We'll come back to that in a moment. So break it up into lumps, and then it says chop it up a little bit more. So I'm just going to get a chopping board, and the chopping board's down here, okay? I'm back. Don't panic anybody, don't panic anybody, I'm back. So just going to chop it up into little bits, little lumps, and they're about that big, look. I put it further away, they get smaller. I put it closer, they get bigger. So make the lumps whatever size you want, really. Just depends how far away they are from the camera. So I'm busy now chopping up my 50 grams of white chocolate. Just going to dash back over to the saucepan. Chocolate's melting nicely. Chocolate's melting very well. The butter, I think, probably. Some idiot made the lumps a little bit big for the chocolate, well, for the butter. So glad you like the apron. Apron's very good, isn't it? Yeah. A very good friend of mine. Used to work with Gordon, you know. That friend that gave me this apron. Yeah. If you ever catch up with that friend of mine, have a good chat with her. Got some very good stories about Gordon. Very good, yeah. I even think some of them are true. So keep chopping your chocolate up. Okay. Into little lumps. I don't really know how small they need to be be honest, but we'll find out, I think, with the finished product. So what's everybody been up to today then? So I've had a bit on today. I got up this morning, which was quite a good thing for me to be doing. I went and painted the table outside. That was quite exciting. I did a lovely job of stripping it. And the table, by the way, I didn't strip myself and then do the table because that would be a bit weird. So what I did was I basically stripped all the old varnish off it. I then... someone's just asked who I borrowed the apron off of. I didn't borrow it, it was a gift. It was a gift to me. So I didn't borrow it, it is my own. It is available for hire if anybody would like it. It's quite expensive though, it's quite expensive. So yeah, stripped that, gave it a couple of coats of primer, top of the table, and only for Paula to come back from Wix's with wood stain and not wood paint. So I totally misunderstood what we were doing there. So hey, but it's got a nice white tabletop now, which is nice. Goes really well with the brown chairs. Not. So we'll have to revisit that, I feel, at some point. So I got people saying they can't hear me. Now, I don't really know why that is, to be honest. I'm going to do my best that you can hear me, but I can't make any promises. I can't make any promises. So that's what I've been doing today, really. I mowed the lawn as well. Been out and done some run drills. I hope everybody else has too, because I'm quite lucky. I don't really need a haircut in the lockdown because it's just naturally finding its own space. Whereas I do know there's some people who do need a haircut. I'm available to do haircuts. So if you'd like me to cut your hair, just give me a shout. I can do it at a 2 metre distance. To be fair, that would probably be better if it was a 2 metre distance. It's okay, I'm back now. I'm back. I think I have a funny feeling Paula is stealing my Wi-Fi from upstairs. I think that's what's going on. So for all her little jibes and japes about being able to hear me in stereo, actually is ruining the performance. So it's what you get from living out in the sticks, though, isn't it? Is not very good Wi-Fi. But still, not to worry. So we've got some chocolate left over, which is nice. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to go over to the saucepan and we're going to turn the camera around. And as you can see, hey presto, the chocolate and the butter has all melted. So that's very good. Okay. So I'm going to turn that off now, and I'm going to remove. I'm going to remove the bowl from there so that it can cool down. Okay, that just needs to come back down to room temperature now. Okay, you don't want to be you don't want it to be too warm, because otherwise, when we put the eggs in, we're going to end up with scrambled egg, which I can't lie, would not be ideal. As you all know, that may still happen. So what we're going to do now, we're going to clear some of this stuff away. Okay, we're going to clear some of this stuff away. I don't know where really. Hang on. Right, I've cleared some of that stuff away. So now what we're going to do, going to get a glass bowl. Okay, glass bowl. Now we want 3 eggs. Okay, said 3 large eggs. I didn't really know what to find a large egg, so I got 2 eggs, which were slightly bigger than 1 egg. But if my slightly smaller egg was already a large egg, I've got 2 giant eggs and 1 large egg. So it's a bit tricky, isn't it? So it says break 3 eggs, 3 large eggs into a large bowl. Large bowl, large egg. Must be a joke in there somewhere. Egg, bowl, bowl, egg. Put the yolks over there. Okay. So welcome everybody that's just joined us on this cook along with Rob. It's going very well. We're making chocolate brownies. Okay. So that's the 3 eggs in there now. So that's very good. I'm very happy with that. That's not a bad piece of work. Now, you want caster sugar, and you require quite a bit of it. Oh crikey, you know when you can't see something? 275 grams of caster sugar. Okay, golden caster sugar is what you want. Okay, so you're now going to put this in a bowl, and we have missed Easter unfortunately, otherwise Yeah, barium, that is fine. The egg and the shell is all okay. Okay, that is not a problem. It adds to the crispiness. So when you're cooking it, if you burn it a little bit as well, no one will ever know that was the shell. All right. So what you need to do now is get the whisk with the world's shortest lead, but I do have a plan. I have an extension lead. So now, I don't only have a whisk with the shortest lead, I now have a whisk that's got an extension lead attached to it. So, now I mean, let's be honest, what could possibly go wrong here? Okay? Who knows? So, stick it in the bowl, crikey. Give it a whisk. Bit noisy, isn't it? Bit noisy, but it says 3 to 8 minutes. I certainly wasn't timing it, so we're going to have to roll with this, I think, a little bit. It says it should look a bit of a grey colour. It's like, oh, should it? So we'll see how it looks. We'll see how it looks and we'll see how it goes. So the main thing is that if you want to join in the conversation, please do. Don't try not to be funnier than me though, okay? Because that's not what this is about, okay? Crikey, this is growing. It's going quite well. Look, look. Look at that. That is pretty good, isn't it? So just keep that going. Keep it going. It says keep whisking it. It says stiff peaks. What is a stiff peak? I have no idea what a stiff peak is. I mean, how do you quantify stiff? You know, I mean, that's something that I normally am after I've been out for a long run. I'm stiff. So I don't really know what stiff actually means. So I know I'm not making a meringue. I do know that much. But we are making something that looks oh dear, resembles something that looks like egg and caster sugar. So, and did I mention it was golden caster sugar? Did I mention that? I don't really know. It's a bit difficult, isn't it? It says if the mixture that runs off the beaters leaves a trail on the surface of the mixture in the bowl for a second or two, you're there. I mean, I'm definitely here. Hold over my head. I don't think that's going to happen, Mrs. Taylor. I know I look stupid. I will if you will. No, not whole milk sugar. I spoke to the cow, and the cow couldn't produce whole milk sugar. So we were just stuck with sugar. So I reckon, here we go, look, I'm going to leave it, see if it leaves a trail. It does leave a trail. That's awesome. Look, I'd love to show you, but the last time I tried to show somebody what my crumble looked like, my phone ended up in the crumble. So I don't think I should show you what this looks like, because I don't think that'll end very well. I really don't. So, no, it's far too runny to put over my head, and I'm not making a meringue. And I've already seen that somebody has got theirs in the oven. Now, we'll see at the end. We'll see at the end what they look like. So I'll do a bit of a recap. I've had all the tips about what it should look like in the oven. I've been doing a load of research. So I reckon we're there with that now. Oh, holy moly. Note to self, okay. There's a lot of bad encouragement going on here for me. But I can't, look, that's definitely too runny to put over my head. Look, that just ain't gonna happen, is it? I tell you what, we're eating ours. Are you really? I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll maybe do meringues next. There we go, we do meringues. I mean, meringues, what could go wrong with meringues? Okay, so it says I need a rubber spatula. Okay, I just need to go and check the chocolate and butter mix to see if that's come down to room temperature. Same again, that's all relative, room temperature, because the bottom line is that if your room's really hot, then this is probably room temperature. But if you kind of live somewhere where it's really cold, then I would probably say this isn't room temperature. So I don't really know whether I should just wing it at this point and see if we end up with scrambled egg. What do we think? What do we reckon here? It does look... Yeah, let's go. I reckon just let's go. Let's straight in, no kissing. Let's get it all folded in there. It says fold it. So there we go. So what you've got to do is you've got to marry them together without knocking out the air. So let's go. There is a lot of air in there actually. Can't beat a bit of air. So we're going to fold that in. So I'd love to be able to show you because I am doing an absolutely amazing job of this going in. It's looking absolutely amazing. It really is. I mean, if you could smell it as well. If only you could smell it. You know, you'd be blown away by it. Absolutely blown away. So, few tips for cooking. Okay, when we do get it to put it in the oven, I've got a few top tips there to tell you, which is what it's all about, really. I'm thinking, I don't know whether I could actually do this as a job or not. I don't know if I could be a chef. I think I possibly could. I mean, how difficult is it, really? From what I've heard, it's not that difficult. So, bit of shaking here, a little bit of shaking there. So, I don't know how much I've got to fold that in, really. It's all a bit boring, isn't it, now? It's all a bit dull. So, I think that's going in lovely now, actually. That's going in nice swirly bits. Swirly bits is what you want, isn't it? Swirly bits. We like it swirly. So, there we go. There we go. Look at that. That is absolutely awesome, that is. So, I think, well, I reckon that'll do, to be honest. Otherwise, I think that we're all going to get very bored, even more bored than we probably are already. So now, I'm going to take my flour and my cocoa powder, okay? So, what I'm now going to do is I'm going to sift it again, okay? And I've got to fold it in a figure of 8 action, apparently. So I think I know what an 8 looks like. And it should all look a bit dry and dusty, apparently. So I'm not going to knock the air out, I don't reckon. I don't think... Alright, let's get all that in there. Let's get all that goodness in there, because this is going to be good for you, because it's wholemeal flour, you see. It's wholemeal flour, so cocoa powder, that's from Aldi, okay? Other brands are available. That much I can assure you, other brands are available. but Aldi, Paula went to Aldi this morning, queued, did everything you have to do at Aldi, and managed to turn up with everything I wanted, apart from the white plain flour. So we ended up using that wholemeal flour again. So like I said, this is what makes it good for you, you see. A bit of wholemeal flour makes it healthy. This is the healthy option. Okay, so fold it in a figure of 8. Looks quite lumpy actually. It doesn't look overly special, I'm not going to lie. But what we can probably do, we can probably now go. Let's turn the camera around, and we can see a little bit of folding in. Okay, a bit of folding in going on there. Look, a bit of folding in. Look at that. That's amazing, isn't it? How many people out there actually believed that I was a cook? Yeah, I know. Difficult to believe, isn't it? And I suspect you're watching this, and I suspect it's still difficult to believe, to be honest. Man of many talents. Master of... There's that spoon again, look. Master of absolutely none. So, here we go. Don't think that's too far away now, actually. We haven't ended up with scrambled egg, which is good. So that's very reassuring that we haven't ended up with scrambled egg. So we've now, yeah, I'm quite happy with that. That doesn't look too bad at all. So now what I'm going to do, the oven is up to temperature. I can tell that because the light's off, and it's quite warm as well. So chocolate's going in now. Okay, chocolate's gone in. Chocolate lumps have gone in. So that's all just going to add to the niceness of it and the loveliness. It's not wholemeal chocolate. It's just chocolate. It's white chocolate and milk chocolate mixed in with a dark chocolate with a wholemeal flour, which is what makes it healthy. Okay. Now what you've ended up with is quite a nice consistency. Okay. See, quite a nice consistency. I'm not even going to go into what that resembles, but the consistency is quite nice. Okay, so now we've got it to that consistency, I can't help thinking I've missed something out because this all seems to be going a little bit too well, actually. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it and put it in the tin, in the baking tin. Okay. Now it says get all the goodness out. It says get it all out, so I'm getting it all out. And there we go. We're going to put that into the baking tray. Okay, look at that. Get that out of the bowl. There we go. It's all out of the bowl. Okay, swish it around in the bowl a little bit. In the baking tin. Okay, baking tin might be a little bit on the large side, but can't have everything, can you? So, okay, so there it is in there, you see. Okay, it's now in there in the baking tray. So drip a few bits of sweat in there as well for good measure. Someone just asked what I'm actually making. That is a very good question. I'm making chocolate brownies. Okay, making chocolate brownie. So we're going to now put that in the oven. So I'm going to slide it in the oven. I will be back, so I've got some top tips for when it's in the oven. Okay, it needs to be in the oven for about 25 minutes. Okay, so leave it in there for 25 minutes first off. So I'm just setting the oven timer. Okay, so oven timer's set now, and I know it's you, Francis. How are you? So what we're going to do now is when it comes out of the oven, okay, check it at 25 minutes, okay, because you don't want to listen to me babble on for 25 minutes, and someone else just told me it doesn't want to be in there that long, but you know, we'll see. I'm just proving that I can follow orders. So what we're going to do is, when you bring it out the oven, you want it to not have a lot of wobble, okay? You want it to be quite stiff, but not too much wobble. So if it does wobble around, okay, you need to slide it back in for another 5 minutes to stiffen it, okay? So 5 minutes, you just need to keep on it, okay? Because what you want it to do, you want it to be cracked around the edges, okay, and gooey in the middle, all right? So if you haven't got a crack, but it's gooey in the middle, roll with that, all right? So, and just remember, you don't want, if it's not stiff and it's still gooey, just slide it back in, okay? So, yeah, you don't want too much wobble. Too much wobble, I mean, it all gets out of hand when it all wobbles around, doesn't it? You want it nice and stiff. So then you want the cracking. But what you also want to do when it comes out, you let it cool in the air, okay? Cool in the air, and it should sink slightly and give you more cracking. So by the end of it, you should end up with loads of crack, okay? So what we're going to do, and no, I'm not going to produce one I made earlier. I'm not going to produce one I made earlier because I haven't made one earlier. It's in the oven now. So what we're going to do is we're going to make something else next week. Now, it's looking possibly like it could be a meringue because there was a lot of interest in me holding it above my head. So I think it should be a meringue next week, okay? Because I reckon we could have a right laugh with a meringue, okay? And maybe we can get some more people to actually do some more cooking along with me as well, because that would just be amazing, wouldn't it? And then we can share our results as well. So I'm going to leave you all now, okay, because it's now sat in the oven. It's now got 22 minutes left, okay, at 160 in a fan oven, or 180 in a non-fan oven, or gas mark 4. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come back a bit later, okay, and we'll see how it goes, okay? Who knows? Who knows? Plus, Paula needs to come down. There's a load of tidying up for her to do now because it looks like a bomb's gone off. But what we also have, should it all go properly belly up, we do have a put in a mug that we can pull out the bag, okay? Dr. Hector's put in a mug, okay? So thank you all very much for being part of this experience. Certainly been a true experience for me, I can tell you that. Have a good evening. If you want to join me again later, I would say we're probably going to be about, we'll probably do it in about 40 minutes time, okay? We'll come back with how it's come out the oven and what it actually looks like. And what we can do is we'll go by what it looks like, and then we'll also do a bit of a catch up, possibly in the morning when I'm out of A&E from eating it, what it actually tasted like, okay? And what did it look like inside? Was it soft inside? Was it gooey in the middle? Because we like it gooey in the middle. So what we can do is we will come back in about 40 minutes and we will review what we've seen, what happened, how it happened, why it happened, and should it have happened. So thank you all very much for joining me this evening. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you along, and have a lovely evening. Stay safe, and we'll speak again soon. Bye for now. Bye.